Kanya Zuma is a brother to former President Jacob Zuma, and this week, he gave an exclusive interview to the Sunday Times in South Africa. "They have deserted him," Kanya Zuma told the Sunday Times. An embittered former President Jacob Zuma feels betrayed and abandoned by the African National Congress, which allows him to be called a thief and doesn't lift a finger to defend him. In a year in which Zuma saw his political capital draining away, and his support eroded in the party he has served all his life, his supporters' hopes of a comeback look dead in the water. Having taken South Africa deep into junk territory, as an investment destination, and leading the courts a merry dance, to avoid having to account for his alleged crimes, Zuma may well find that 2020 is the year he finally meets his destiny. His moneyed friends, the Guptas, have fled the country, leaving him and his family to carry the can for the looting of state-owned entities. With his own funds running low, and his health failing, Zuma is staring down the barrel. His much-postponed court case will resume next year, and he's scheduled to make another appearance at the Zondo Commission, to answer for state capture, which President Cyril Ramaphosa estimates cost South Africa about 500 billion rand during Zuma's tenure. But it is his sense that he has been abandoned by his comrades in the RNC that most rankles the former leader. "When my brother is called a thief, the current RNC leadership will never be heard defending him. He is like a stranger to them now," said Kanya Zuma. Members of his inner circle say he has been exiled and forgotten by the RNC, as he is pursued by the Zondo Commission, the National Prosecuting Authority, and the VBS Mutual Bank liquidators. "They have deserted him. We know his lifelong contribution to the liberation of this country, and his work afterwards, is only appreciated by ordinary ANC members and South Africans now," said Kanya Zuma, from the family homestead in Nkandla. The KwaZulu-Natal compound, which was upgraded to the tune of 256 million rand from public coffers, will be at the forefront of the former president's courtroom parry and thrust. In September 2019, the liquidators of VBS Mutual Bank went to the Pietermaritzburg High Court to try to foreclose on the estate after the 77-year-old former president defaulted on his loan. Court papers show he is 500,000 rand in arrears, having slipped behind in his monthly repayments of 70,000 rand. In total, he owes more than 7.3 million rand, and if he doesn't cough up, the liquidators want the option to execute on the rural homestead in lieu of the outstanding cash. The homestead was listed as security on the loan, and in the event of a default or breach by Jacob Zuma, the plaintiff, VBS Mutual Bank, may initiate debt enforcement procedures or foreclose on the immovable property bonded. Beyond losing the roof over his head, Jacob Zuma could be facing the prospect of a 25-year jail term if he is found guilty of corruption relating to his role in the arms deal. He faces charges of fraud, money laundering, and racketeering, along with French military technology company, Thales. He has maintained that his prosecution is politically motivated, and insisted that the many delays in having his day in court have violated his constitutional rights. His bid for a permanent stay of prosecution is now bound for the Supreme Court of Appeal, after the Pietermaritzburg High Court rejected his application last month. 3 judges concurred that Jacob Zuma had failed to convince them, on proper grounds, that he had a realistic prospect of success on appeal. Outside the court, the huge crowds that once gathered have evaporated to a few curious onlookers. Kanya Zuma said that the ANC's support of his brother dwindled after he left office. He said the Zuma clan had not expected what he called the Zuma persecution. The new ANC leadership have. I don't think Nelson Mandela or Harry Gwala would have kept quiet if their comrade was being called a corrupt thief. They must leave him alone, or they must tell us what they want from him, because we are tired of this ill treatment, he said. When they finally kill him with stress, they will come here and pretend that they loved him. That day, they will be calling him a great man, from the same mouths who call him a thief today. Jacob Zuma's apparently flagging health was in the spotlight when he missed his Zondo Commission deadline, claiming that he was undergoing medical treatment in a foreign country. It was speculated that he may have been treated in Cuba. Journalist Ridhi Talhabi had applied to cross-examine Jacob Zuma at the commission earlier this year, after he accused her of being a spy and part of a group that coordinated an attempt to assassinate his character. She said she had received death threats after the former president's testimony. Jacob Zuma was purportedly receiving care for the aftermath of an alleged 2014 poison plot, orchestrated by one of his wives, Nompumelelo Ntuli Zuma, who denies the poisoning accusation. In September 2019, after years of investigation, the NP declined to prosecute Ntuli Zuma due to a lack of evidence. Jacob Zuma himself told his brothers that it was his persecution that had resulted in his health taking a beating. I asked him whether, or not, it was stress from the way you are being treated by this organization you fought for, this democracy you fought for, and he said yes. He confirmed that indeed these things are stressing him, Kanya Zuma said. I don't think Nelson Mandela or Harry Gwala would have kept quiet if their comrade was being called a corrupt thief. Those are the people who know his contribution to this country, not these people whom we don't know what they did during the struggle, he said. Kanya said he'd noticed that his brother's health was deteriorating when they were at a family funeral in October 2019. It is only when he was admitted in hospital, and even went overseas, that we started worrying. When we went to visit him when he got back, we had to wait a while to see him, because he had just taken medication, and it was strong medication. He is not well, Kanya said. The family said that they were particularly incensed by the RNC's comments about Jacob Zuma's condition. Speaking to journalists on the sidelines of an RNC National Executive Committee meeting, an RNC national spokesperson, Puli Mobei, said, "We have seen media reports that suggest that the former president of the RNC's health might be ailing. If that was to be true, we of course wish him well, and for him to have a speedy recovery. We do not have any further details, except what we saw in the press." Kanya's wife, Sabani Zuma, said Mobei's comments insinuated that Jacob Zuma may have been faking his illness. They opened him up to further stress and unnecessary scrutiny, because people were now all over the news, were saying he is faking sick, because he is running away from court cases and the Zondo Commission, she said. She said Jacob Zuma's first wife, Sizakele Khumalo, is also unwell. She has never had peace. Since Jacob Zuma was fighting against apartheid until today, she has never had peace. We are also concerned about the toll this stress is taking on her. While Zuma faces a war on many fronts, not all on the horizon is negative. A reality TV series centered on the Zuma clan and his fiancée, Nomkenya Sotonko, still appears to be in the offing. The 26-year-old former massage parlor owner gave birth to a son on Zuma's 76th birthday in April 2018, and is set to tie the knot with the man, old enough to be her grandfather. Please check in the description box below for the links to the sources of this report. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe.